Okay, we have Coach Martin. He will go straight to questions as well. If you have something, please raise your hand and we'll get going.
Thank you.
Coach, to your left, 3 tables back.
Yeah, Monday was our first day where we actually introduced the part of the game that everybody absolutely loves, which is doing defensive slides and drills and all that. They were jumping for joy on Monday after doing nothing and listening to me just coach offense, which they like because I don't say much. And then all of a sudden it gets complicated. But we were just okay on Monday. Yesterday we were real good. Yesterday we took a huge step forward defensively, given it was only the second day, and I was excited. And but this is a fun team. They're fun to be around. They're fun to be a practice with. It's not a knock on the previous teams. It's just we've all worked real hard to create the atmosphere that we have in there right now. And they're competitive. They know we've got a bunch of guards, a bunch of guys that have played college basketball. They understand and respect how hard it is to win one game, so they respect the game the right way.
Coach, you're right, 3 rows back. I've read, Frank, that this is considered your most talented team of the teams in South Carolina. How does that set?
Yeah, that's Jerry. It's my opinion. It's something I said, and I think I've been in this league long enough, and guys that cover this league understand I don't bark a lot. When I say something, it's something that I believe in, and it's what I believe. Now, does that mean that we can be better than the team that won 25 games in 16, or the team that went to the Final Four and won 26 and 17? I got no idea. We'll figure that one out as the season gets here, how we manage that moment. But as far as talent, 1 through 15, 16, it's the most balanced team I've had. Like if we had a game tomorrow, I got no idea who I'm playing. I mean, there's so many options, and I'm not sure yet what guys I'm throwing out there to start the game. I'm not even close to making that decision right now.
To your right, Coach.
Frank, the last 4 years, you've had one guy on preseason All-SEC team, but you've had 5 different players have some kind of postseason honor. You have guys this year who you think can be recognized for the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, John, I'm not into preseason stuff because you got to play the year. It's not like they vote you preseason player of the year or first team all league, and so you get a pass. You just show up in March and play in the conference tournament. You got to go play, and those awards will be earned. The teams that deserve things, they'll earn their way through it. I was a little disappointed. AJ's one of the better players in the conference. He was voted an all-rookie, one of the top 5 freshmen in the league. I was disappointed that he was omitted, but that's not. If you go back, it's 4 years in a row, I think you said, where we've had a first-team all-league player, 6 men of the year, defensive player of the year, player of the year. I would think our guys have earned, based on past, even AJ with his being acknowledged as one of the better freshmen in the league. I would have wished that he would have gotten a little publicity and a little more respect, for lack of better words. And that's because we're not new in the league. It's not like he just got here. It's not like I just got here. I think we've earned some respect around this conference, and I was a little disappointed in that. But it is what it is. It's a preseason award. We'll wait till the year's over and see who the next Michael Carrera, Chris Silva, Sendarius, Dwayne Notice, Hassani Gravett, keep going. All the guys that have earned all kinds of postseason awards. John, here's the deal. I've been fortunate that I've been in this league where we were really bad and we weren't good enough to win games, and I've been in this league, I think, second longest tenured coach in the SEC right now behind Cal. We've been top 4 3 of the last 4 years. I've coached games, numerous games as a top 20, us being a top 20 team in the country over the last 4 years. There's 2 games in particular that I coached. With all due respect to the media that covers our teams, there was not a single media person at the game. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, media. They didn't pick. The media didn't vote Chris first team all conference at the end of last year. So it's for whatever reason, who we are is not appealing to the media, which is fine. I'm not here to win a popularity contest. You know, we're here to coach basketball and play. And I've got too much respect for the other coaches and the other teams in this league to be worrying about where our preseason ranking is. I was a part of a team that was preseason number 3 in the country in the Big 12. 7 games into conference play, we're 2-5. So that preseason ranking was out the window real fast. So all that's irrelevant. I'm a little disappointed that our program isn't given a little bit more respect.
To your left, coach, second row.
Oh boy, those are some fun days.
Listen, where do you stand on name, image, and likeness? South Carolina is fair play to play at states. Where do you stand on that? Anything that can affect college athletics?
That's a complicated answer that I have opinions on. I've made them public. I'm not trying to avoid the question. I don't want to monopolize the whole press conference with that. I've been privy to some meetings where those conversations as to how we're going to do this have been taking place for a while. It's not something that started because some politician decided that this is important. I think politicians, I'm not going to tell politicians how to do their job. I don't think they should be getting themselves involved on what 1 or 2% of student athletes' maximum earning power is. They should be consumed with people that grow up like me, with making an education affordable, rather than worrying about the 1% of student athletes what they should be able to earn. Their place is to govern everybody, not that 1%. Their place is to figure out ways to make sure that me, where I come from, people like me, have a chance to get a college education, because I'm not part of this new wave that's forgotten what the value of an education adds to your life. That's very important to me. As a former teacher, as a person who gets to sit here and answer your question in a room full of unbelievable folks every day, I don't get that opportunity if I'm still a bouncer and a part-time coach in Miami. What changed my life was when I was able to pay for school and get a college education. That opened the door for me. That's allowed me to succeed in life. And I think politicians should be worried about that rather than getting themselves involved in college athletics for the benefit of the top 1-2%. I don't want to hear the argument then that the top 2% earners in our country should share the wealth for everybody else. Because that's what politics is telling us right now, that we don't penalize the top 2% of the earners in our country, that we need them to penalize, to get them to pay more to share the wealth. But in college sports, we do share the wealth, but now we're the same group of people arguing that we need to protect those guys. That's the part I'm confused about, but I can tell you we don't need politicians for the change that's coming. Those conversations have been had for a while. No, the answer to that is no. I don't think that would impact the educational experience. But think about these 2 situations. Title IX, my wife's a former track athlete. She got a free education because she could really run. And the reason she got that was Title IX. But you also look back to when Title IX got put in place, and there's parts of the country where softball doesn't exist, baseball doesn't exist. Gymnastics and wrestling were 2 sports that went out the window. They're not what they used to be when I was a kid. And that was impacts of Title IX. And you look in professional sports, Curt Flood, what year was that, 70-something? And when he challenged the free agency rule and he won, we're 50 years later, and pro sports are still trying to figure out how to manage free agency to make sure that it's an equal playing field, that there's no advantages for any team. So that's you can't just let a cat out of the bag and say, hey, let's go with it, because once you do that, you're not putting it back in. But those conversations, I don't want to say to do what's right. That's not to be progressive and move forward. I think those conversations have been had for a while, and I think change is coming. But again, it's not coming because some politician decided he wanted to gain publicity in an election year to make himself look sexy.
Coach, to your left, 5 rows back.
Jerry, I can't help myself. I'm too honest.
Coach, Alabama Saturday down south. Is the SEC finally getting the respect it deserves as a really good basketball conference?
I'm going to speak selfishly, which I never do. I don't like speaking about me or my team. I'd rather who we are every day represent itself. But I think that started when we made our run to the Final Four. I think everybody paid attention, like, how are they in the Final Four? And I tried to tell people at the time, our league prepared us for this moment. And that's continued. And then obviously Auburn made the run they made. You know, we've had numerous teams. I think we had 9 in the tournament a year ago, 8 last year, if I'm not mistaken, or 7. I'm not, for a math teacher, I don't deal good with numbers sometimes. But it's there, and it's a credit to the campuses, it's a credit to the coaches, it's a credit to this league office, the commitment that they've made to pressure our campuses to do a better job. I'm going to share this with the media. I think the media that covers the SEC has realized that, you know what, these guys are pretty good, not just South Carolina, the other teams. So when local media covers our sport, then the national people pick up on that. And I think it's a combination of all of the above. But it's a great thing, and I hope it continues.
Coach, over here to your left, front row.
Yeah, the guys on the team that have been around, they're all trying to figure out losing Chris, because I used to yell at Chris more than anybody on the team. So that means that somebody else is getting the wrath of Frank now on a daily basis, and they don't want to be that guy. But no, on a serious note, because Chris was who he was, he taught Mike Kotsar, he taught A.J. Lawson, he taught Jair Bolden, he taught all those guys, T.J. Moss, all the guys that were part of the team last year. He taught them what it's like to lead. And most importantly, his leadership was not tied to winning. His leadership was tied to who he wants us to be every day. That's what allowed us to become a good team at the end of the year and allowed us to finish in 4th place in this crazy good conference that we're in. And then 7th that's an easy decision. I recruited him out of high school. The more I recruited him, the more I got to know him and his family 5 years ago, whatever it was, the more convinced I was that he's just a stud of a human being. Forget his highlight films and all the stuff he had back then. It's who he is to his core. We almost got him, but he chose North Carolina, which that's his right. He made a great decision. It's one of the great schools and one of the great basketball programs in our country. But now, you know, everyone made a big deal with Zion last year, rightfully so. 7th was Zion before Zion. 7th was a guy that had all the highlight reels and the whole thing. And I tell him all the time how he managed at 13 the dynamic and the pressures that every time he dribbled the wrong way, there was all kinds of critics out there saying he's not as good as he was hyped up to be. He's a lot better man than I am. I would have created a scene with somebody. And he managed it. And somebody that can manage that has to be a great teammate. And now that he's been around for 3 months now, I think, we were right on the money. He's an unbelievable teammate, and I'm extremely happy that he and his family have trusted in us to go through this journey with him, so he can finish college with the fun. that he set out his journey to be.
We have time for 2 questions. Anybody else?
Coach, who's some of your young players who think will contribute heavily?
Yeah, that's the complicated part of my job right now, is that we don't have any, usually when you're a month into practice, you have a pretty good feel for who's not gonna play. It's easier to identify, when you got a good team, it's easier to identify, okay, that guy's not gonna be able to get on the floor, so I need to start managing that part of the relationship with them so they don't overreact when the moment comes. I got no idea who that is on my team right now. There's a balance. I said this the other day, and I didn't mean this as a knock, I meant it as a positive. If you come in to watch us practice, A.J. Lawson is a real good player. If you don't know anything about our team, you don't leave practice and say, that's A.J., because everyone else is pretty good. And I kind of, first week of practice, I'm going home saying, you know what? I got to talk to A.J. He's not playing real good. And then I go home and watch practice, sitting on my comfortable recliner. I'm like, you know what? A.J.'s playing pretty good. It's just that other guy's playing good too. And I've come to realization, that's what my comment that I answered for Jerry was, that this is the most talented team, because I can't get my real good player to dominate practice the way Sindarius used to, or the way Jacob Pullen used to at K-State. There's a parity on our team that's fun to be around.
Coach, final question left on the third table.
Frank, you mentioned a little bit before about the preseason media poll and it being whatever it is. Does it mean anything to you, or is it gratifying in any way that you have Ben Howland and Rick Barnes up here earlier today saying that you should be a lot higher in those rankings for your team to be like?
Yeah, those two guys, I'm thankful for their kind words. But those are two guys that understand how hard it is to win. And they both came into this league after winning at a big-time level in other programs, and they realize how hard winning in this league is. And I think they comprehend when they compete against our team. I know I respect how their teams play tremendously. That's why I don't sit here and like, we're this too. Whoever in this league got picked 4th, 5th, I get it. That's how good this league is. My feelings don't get hurt. This is what I'm going to say. 3 of the last 4 years, we've been picked, 7th, 9th, and 11th, and we finished 3rd, and 4th, I want to say. And then the one year we were picked 11th, I think it was the year after the Final Four, and we finished 11th. Let's hope you guys were wrong. Let's hope that you guys were wrong. I'd rather not be 10th. I'd rather finish a little higher, but it's irrelevant. I mean, I'm just telling you. What bothers me is not the preseason team ranking, because the league's so hard. AJ not being picked as one of the better players in the league. I'm not trying to knock the other guys, because I can't tell you that we got so many good teams. You don't have good teams if you don't have that many good players. But I would have liked to seen AJ, who sweat for this league, sweat to represent this league, and established himself as one of the better players in the league, to receive a little recognition.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.